By autumn, most folks in the neighborhood had learned to give my ranch a wide berth. Between the lawsuits, the governor's convoy debacle, and a few well-placed private property violators will be prosecuted signs, you'd think HOA Karen would have finally gotten the message. But Karen didn't learn lessons. She collected them like parking tickets, ignored until they blew up in her face. It started innocently enough. A complaint about wildlife smells near the HOA fence line. She claimed the deer, foxes, and occasional longhorns lowered property values and demanded I do something about it. I explained, politely, that my fence wasn't just a boundary. It was a protected wildlife barrier, installed in cooperation with the state's environmental department. The land was part of a federally recognized corridor that let native species migrate safely between habitats. Karen rolled her eyes. "You mean your little petting zoo?" I sighed. "It's not a zoo, Karen. It's federal conservation land. Touch that fence, and you're committing a felony." She gave a tight smile and said, "Well, maybe someone needs to redecorate it." That was the last warning she ever got. 2 weeks later, I woke up to my motion sensors going off at 3 a.m. The camera feed showed 2 figures near the north boundary, one holding wire cutters, the other shining a flashlight. Even half asleep, I knew that posture. Karen and one of her HOA cronies. They were cutting my fence. By the time I got to the gate, my truck's headlights caught them red-handed. Karen froze like a deer in the beam, the wire cutter halfway through the steel mesh. "Karen?" I said through the rolled-down window, voice calm as a winter stream. "You'd better put that tool down." She huffed. "You can't keep everyone out. The HOA voted to open this area for community trails." I chuckled. "That's not an HOA fence. That's federal property." She blinked, but before she could answer, we heard it. A low rumble from beyond the treeline. Then another. The sound grew louder, closer, heavier. It wasn't thunder. A herd of bison, the conservation herd that roamed freely through the protected corridor, had noticed the open section and decided to investigate. Dozens of massive, shaggy silhouettes emerged from the darkness, snorting and pawing at the dirt. Karen's eyes went wide. Are those cows?" "Not cows," I said. "Bison, and they don't like trespassers." She screamed. Her partner dropped the cutters and bolted, leaping the ditch like his life depended on it. Karen tried to follow but caught her foot on a loose strand of wire, tumbling face first into the dirt as the first bison trotted past, curious but unimpressed. I stayed put, shining my headlights wide enough to keep the herd calm. The animals ambled through, grunting softly, ignoring her shrieks. When it was finally safe, I called the sheriff. By dawn, 3 deputies and a wildlife ranger were on site, documenting the damage. The ranger, a stoic woman in green, stared at Karen like she was looking at a particularly dumb species of animal. "You understand this is a federal wildlife barrier, ma'am?" she said flatly. Karen, still covered in mud and grass, tried to argue. "It's just a fence. We were trying to make a walking path." "Ma'am," the ranger interrupted, holding up her clipboard. "You cut through protected property under the Migratory Habitat Act. That's a felony offense." Karen blinked. "A felony?" "Yes, ma'am," said the deputy. "Congratulations. You just committed a federal crime." They cuffed her right there beside the broken fence, the morning sun glinting off her muddy sneakers. The news spread faster than wildfire. "HOA president arrested for destroying wildlife barrier," read the headlines. The photos were priceless. Karen being led away, hair tangled, still shouting about property values, as a herd of bison grazed peacefully in the background. She was fined heavily, ordered to perform community service with the very same wildlife agency she defended, and banned from holding any HOA position for 10 years. When she finally came home, she didn't look smug anymore. She avoided eye contact, didn't call meetings, didn't wave her clipboard. As for me, the state wildlife office sent a letter of gratitude and a small bronze plaque that now hangs on my fence post, in recognition of citizens who protect our heritage lands. Sometimes I see Karen drive by that stretch of road, slowing down to stare at the herd beyond the fence. She never gets out of her car. Maybe she's remembering the night the bison thundered through the darkness, or maybe she's just thinking about how far arrogance can fall when it collides with law and nature. Either way, that fence still stands strong, steel, oak, and a touch of poetic justice. Because out here, you don't pick fights with the land. And you sure as hell don't cut what you don't understand.